Okay, this is my video presentation. Super weird. Here we go. Take 3000. Um, so my internship is with Clackamas County Behavioral Health. I'm currently working with an individual who I'm going to call Karen. Karen is in her 50s and lives at a campground somewhere in the Mount Hood National Forest, where she also works a couple days a week. Um, the outcome that was hoped for from the agency regarding Karen is that she's been receiving therapy, medication management, and case management over the past 10 years. Due to the way that the agency sees this, they would like to kind of wean her off of case management as it no longer meets the criteria of medical necessity. Um, my field supervisor also feels like that Karen kind of needs a change and that it's been a very long time utilizing all of these services and in certain ways there hasn't been a massive amount of changes, so she felt by me working with her as an intern there would be a natural termination that would happen rather than Karen perceiving something that was being taken away from her. Now, it's important to note here that Karen has an extensive trauma history, probably one of the worst ones that I've ever read. Um, so I was going into this really first from an education point on like the advocacy model. Like I had to get to know her. Um, and I knew that she was also going to have to trust me, which there were some massive things that come into play with it, especially when I come in as the intern. And it's pretty obvious right away that, I'm from Portland, I'm white, I'm male, I have like all of these different like roles and privileges and positionality, and I'm the intern. So now you also have to deal with the intern. I had to kind of prove myself in that way, and so I felt like for a while we were stuck in the education where it was like I was asking her a lot of questions, and I was really trying to listen and develop like some rapport with her. Um, and she had many reasons not to trust me, and for all the reasons I listed, for sure our relationship deepened. I feel like, and we moved on into the like advocacy level where like she really needed assistance with a letter from SSI where she felt like they were going to take away her benefits, and because it made her so anxious to call them on the phone and to try to go through that process, especially due to like a history of dealing with all these like structural systems that don't work, like Social Security. I ended up making the call with her, and I ended up spending the rest of the day calling Social Security till I finally got a supervisor so we could get it straightened out so her benefits would continue in the way that she saw them as necessary. Um, I feel like at this point now we're kind of in the coaching stage where she was actually able to get a new trailer. I tried to help her as best I could. I mean, there were only so many resources in getting someone a physical trailer. She actually found one on Craigslist, went out, and was able to purchase it with help from a friend. Um, I had many concerns about this, but in the end, it worked out. So now I'm currently helping her move all the stuff from her current trailer to this new trailer using the Clackamas County car. So I feel like we're kind of moving slowly more into the coaching phase where I'm also beginning to like I have the rapport where I can point things out like, hey, well, if you want like this from your therapist, I think you might be a bit better if you asked in this kind of like in this way, or like if we examine it like this. Um, if you're really upset at your boss, now is probably not the best time to call them. Um, the outcome still stands where even though she's in a new trailer, they're still wanting to remove the case management services from her. And at this point, we've kind of built up a certain amount of relationship rapport. Like I said, I'm assisting her moving into this trailer. Um, I also feel like they're trying to drive her out of the campground. So I had to speak to my field supervisor and be like, hey, I don't think this natural termination thing is going to work. Like, she's not doing as well as we kind of had hoped that she was doing, even though she has gotten the new trailer. Um, So I felt like there I really had to take on the role of being an advocate for her, but also being an advocate for her after I leave, which is like kind of a massive thing. What we get to when we kind of hit this point is I feel like the outcomes that are set up by the agency are determining a person's life in a way that even the therapist only has so much that she can do. I've been really trying to be as transparent as I possibly can with this individual, but also knowing that that I'm going to leave in June, and knowing that this outcome was kind of set up to be a natural termination. I mean, how do you phrase that to somebody? Be like, hey, like, I'm supposed to leave, and that's supposed to help you be more self-reliant, because I think in some ways it will help her be more self-reliant. Um, so that's kind of where we're at, and I don't know if I've done everything correctly, like as an advocate for her. I feel like she's in a better living situation. I feel like she's in crisis because she's going to eventually probably be asked to leave this campground. Um, but I feel like at least that I have advocated for her and made my concerns known to her therapist, that like when I leave, it may not be the best time to remove these services, as she's going to need continuing support.